NFL Daily, we are talking Chris Jones, possibly a trade there. Justin Jefferson, the contract extension that he's waiting for, will he get it? We got some projections to get to. Also, a roster update of some news across the NFL landscape involving a rule change that could be affecting your favorite team. We'll go over that coming up in just a few moments here on the program. But first, with the NFL season starting tonight, let's go ahead and get that crystal ball out. What is your final Super Bowl prediction for this year? As the season begins, this is your last chance to tell us how you think the Super Bowl is going to play out. Let us know in the comments section who you see taking home the Lombardi Trophy. Let's start with Chris Jones, the man that will not be on the football field tonight for the Kansas City Chiefs as they raised the banner to celebrate their Super Bowl championship last season. He actually still might even be in the building, potentially in a suite, as the Chiefs would still like to have him a part of the ring ceremony. But nonetheless, his future in question. Will he get the new contract or will he ultimately get traded? That is the million-dollar question everybody wants to know as he continues this holdout. According to reports, the request for the contract that Chris Jones wants is around 3 years and $84 million. Chris Jones trying to be one of the highest-paid defensive tackles in football. Not more money than Aaron Donald, but more than Quinnen Williams. Here are some things you need to know in regards to this situation with Chris Jones. Jones has held out throughout training camp and into now the regular season. He said earlier this week when speaking to the media at a local charity event, if a deal gets done, I can get out there tomorrow. Well, deal's not done yet. He's not playing. Comparably speaking to Bosa of the San Francisco 49ers that got paid this week, people were wondering, does that have any effect on Chris Jones? He got 5 years, $170 million with $125 guaranteed. But according to Mike Florio of NBC Sports' Pro Football Talk, he said that Chris Jones, his plans for his contract he's not asking for an increase because of the money that Nick Bosa got. Here's the deal. The Chiefs don't have a long-term solution with Chris Jones as far as going forward without him, replacing him right now. If the Chiefs didn't want to have Chris Jones around, if they were ready to turn the page, they would have already turned the page right now. Let me explain. They didn't draft anybody to fill that spot. They didn't make any trades. I believe that Brett Veach and Andy Reid want him there, and the longer this goes, eventually Chris Jones has got to give in, and he's got to get back on the football field. All the pressure is on Chris Jones. It's not on the Kansas City Chiefs, especially if they win tonight and still play well, even without him. So I think he's ultimately going to be back in Kansas City, but we'll see how long this drags out. And if it continues to drag out, according to NFL Network's Steve Wyche, he says that we could see Chris Jones end up in Seattle as a potential top trade destination, that it makes a lot of sense for the Seahawks to bring in the Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Here's what Wyche said in an interview with Seattle Sports 710 this week. Is this the year you make your move and do something like Chris Jones? It would make a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense. The Seahawks are an organization that plays the long game. They play the fairways more than they play the greens a lot. The longer this drags on, then a team like Seattle, who needs help in the interior of their defensive line, could get him at a discount. You still have to pay him, but instead of maybe giving up a first-round pick, if this is closer to the trade deadline, maybe you're giving up a second and a third instead to bring him in, and you feel exactly what you're looking for if you're the Seattle Seahawks. So, what do you think? Will the Chiefs end up trading Chris Jones? Chime in, tell us what you think. Y for yes, N for no. Is Chris Jones leaving Kansas City? Tell me what you think in the comments section. Deal or no deal? The Athletic's newest NFL insider, the great Dianna Russini, reports that Justin Jefferson is very close to a new contract getting done to remain with the Minnesota Vikings. Russini said this in her latest report in The Athletic. Jefferson has practiced all of training camp, trusting the team will give him a contract that could make him the highest-paid non-QB player in the league. I'm sure Bosa and Jones also hope to take that title. Good news for Kirk Cousins. I learned there are no concerns that if a deal isn't reached, Jefferson would miss games. Based on my conversations, this is looking to be a contract that will be announced and celebrated very soon. Bottom line is this for the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson is too valuable to let go of, to move on from. And when you're Justin Jefferson, when you're playing at as high of a level as he is, and I got some numbers I'm going to show you here in just a second, you can name your price. You're not going anywhere. He is going to be there for a very long time. Obviously, there's questions about Cousins and everyone else on that Vikings team beyond this year, but Justin Jefferson is a cornerstone piece that's just beginning the prime of his NFL career. He's not going anywhere. Today's show is brought to you by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, enter the promo code NFL Daily, you will get a 125% deposit bonus. Put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free at chatsports.com/bet. You can bet on this weekend's NFL action, including Sunday Night Football. We'll be waiting all day for Carrie Underwood and Sunday night as the Dallas Cowboys take on the New York Football Giants in what should be an exciting game on Sunday. The Giants are an underdog. I got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty good about the Giants as a dog. I'm taking the Giants, and you're giving me 3.5 to work with? That's easy money. Bet on the Giants, baby. Or bet on the Cowboys if you want to lose. Over-under, 45? I'm thinking the over on that. Get your bets in now, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily at checkout for the 125% deposit bonus. So here are the highest paid receivers in the National Football League. This is the company that Justin Jefferson would like to join. $30 million is what Tyreek Hill is getting paid, more than anybody right now, and you have to think that he would get even more than that and, as Russini mentioned, be one of those highest paid receivers in the league. So what does a potential extension look like for Justin Jefferson? Well, our own Patrick Seatman, host of Vikings Now, put together this proposal for a potential extension for Justin Jefferson. And think about this. How about a 6-year deal worth $200 million with $180 million guaranteed? And we told you Tyreek was making 30. How about 33.3 for Justin Jefferson? Sounds nice. I think he would take that, and the Vikings would have their franchise player locked up for a long time. I'm expecting big things out of Justin Jefferson, too, heading into 2023. I know that we've never seen a wide receiver win the MVP award in the NFL ever, but Justin Jefferson's got a chance to be the first. He's a sleeper MVP candidate for me. And I think, last year he was on a roll, was fantastic with 1,800 yards. I don't think it's a stretch to say that Justin Jefferson could go for 2,000 this year. And if he goes for 2,000, it's going to be hard for him not to be the MVP when you set records like that. Watch out. Justin Jefferson, I think, is due for a fantastic 2023, and he's got a big paycheck coming his way. Speaking of the NFL MVP, who wins it this season? Does Patrick Mahomes win it again? Is this the year Josh Allen breaks through? Justin Jefferson or somebody else? Weigh in, tell me in the comments section who you think the MVP for this season will be. One final note before we go. The NFL's top 51 cap space rule is effectively over as of yesterday. And so this allowed several teams to restructure some notable contracts and open up a decent amount of cap space. Listen to this. Let's go through these teams one by one. The Niners restructured George Kittle and Trent Williams. That opened up $23 million. Well, meanwhile, the Ravens with Marlon Humphrey opened up $7.54 million. The Seahawks opened up $6 million, 6.6. The Bucs, 10.47 with Shaq Barrett. And then some other teams that made some adjustments. Landry with Tennessee, $8.25 million. Patrick in Denver with $3 million. And then Teller in Cleveland with $9.14 million. Now, as we read a little bit further, because that's what we do here on NFL Daily, is explain the why. Every one of those teams that we mentioned that made those changes and created a cap space, at the moment expects to be a buyer when we get to the trade deadline on October 31st. So watch out for all of those teams to potentially be in the market to be making moves here. Maybe even free agent signing still a possibility as well. You don't make those moves unless you're playing chess. You're trying to lay the groundwork for something else. Watch out. Let's see what those teams potentially put together, who they're in the market for, whether it's a Mike Evans or a Chris Jones, whoever they may be. Those are some teams to watch for potentially that could be making a move here relatively soon. Who's a player that your favorite team needs to add right now, whether it be trade or free agency, either one? Tell us in the comments section. Give me a player that comes to mind that your team needs to add right now. Give me a follow on Twitter at Tyler Jones Live for more NFL coverage, in particular on the Seattle Seahawks, talking about the National Football League each and every day. Appreciate you joining us, and I'll see you next time right here on the NFL Daily.